Hello, I'm Jamie Martin, and I have with me Jessica Martin Brasington, and we're welcoming you to Coaching Conversations with Jamie and Jess.
Hi, y'all. Nice to be with you.
So, Jess, did you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I have been blogging for about 8 years. Along my own health journey, I discovered a lot of great information. I began being overwhelmed as a new mom and discovering actually what GMOs were, genetically modified organisms that were in my kids' Lunchables. I thought I was doing great because I wasn't sending, chocolate milk and ding dongs for lunch. I thought, hey, I got this down. I was obviously, shocked about some of the things in our food. So that pretty much started my journey to health. And along the way, I came across in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And I thought, hey, this is a great way, if nothing else, just to learn more for myself. But as a result, I found that it is one of my biggest passions to help others, empowering them to take control of their health and wellness and sharing that information that I had come across. So now I have a blog, UnProcessedJess, and I share about living life less processed in all areas. And as Jamie, I know you know, all of our areas of our life are connected. It's not just about the food on our plate and looking great naked, even though those are pluses, woo! But it's all of those areas that work together. So I share a little bit about those areas on my blog, and also very passionate about coaching clients and also helping women in groups just live their best life that they can live. Mm-hmm. And so that's what brought me to be a holistic health coach.
Awesome. And I think as talking that we did before, I have a similar story to where I started my health journey just trying to lose weight. My intention was to never become a health coach. But I went through, the whole dieting cycle, and that didn't work for me. And long story short, I found out that I had a number of health issues, not just one, that were impacting my ability to lose weight. But it was more of a symptom. The weight was more of a symptom and not the cause. So through discovery, researching my health conditions, I became extremely passionate about finding the root cause of the health issues that I had. And when I did, and I began to implement a more holistic lifestyle, from detoxing to clean eating, to proper workouts for my body, I began to feel so much better. And I had never felt that way before in my life. I had become accustomed to feeling a certain way. And just because of the lifestyle, I was a busy mom, I was in school, I thought I was supposed to feel that way when I really wasn't. And so I became very passionate about doing the research. And I was just like, well, I know there's other people out there that have to feel the same way, that are like me, who didn't know the information, didn't know where to start, but felt bad, went to the doctor, but wasn't getting the results that they wanted. So I too enrolled into the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and became a certified health coach. And it's my passion to be able to help others along this journey. So I'm a certified health coach here in the Houston area, and I'm also a fitness instructor, and I teach at various gyms around the city about 5 days a week. So this is really my passion and something that I love to do.
And that's something else too, Jamie, that I haven't really struggled a lot with weight. I did put on weight, after I had 3 girls, and, my body changed a lot, and I had to learn, okay, like you're saying, what works for me at that time now as a busy mom. But my thing was, I was in a lot of ways a broken mom. There were things that I was dealing with from, traumatic things that had happened in my life that were, we think a lot of times, oh, we're grown and now we have kids and we have this great life. Things are going to be great, but we take some of those things with us and we don't see that it's connected with, I have a great life. I have 3 kids, a wonderful husband. Why am I feeling this way? So A lot of that is what I like to help women with as well, going from a broken mom to really experiencing whole health and overcoming tragedy in whole health. So I share on my blog as well how things that have happened in my life. 2 years ago, I lost my brother to combat PTSD and suicide, and just going through that grieving process, looking back now and even still today, like if I had not been, if I hadn't known about whole health and taking care of those different areas, it would have been really hard for me. So that's something else that I'm passionate about is moms, like you're saying, I think a lot of times we give to our children and, spouses, partners, and family, and then we kind of just go through our day, right? But a lot of us are broken, and it's all those pieces it takes, and to bring that out it shows up in food or maybe not working out, but like you said, we need to get down to those root causes and not just saying, here's the symptom, I'm overweight, let me lose weight and I'll be all good, So I love that you see that as well.
And that's so awesome that you say that. And it kind of leads into the topic that we're talking about today, talking about resolutions and goal settings and setting intentions. And I stopped setting resolutions a long time ago. And when I started on this health journey, it was around the beginning of the year. I found out, I guess, really what I had in September. So it was a lot of research from September to the beginning of the year. But my goal for the new year, I believe it was 2016, wasn't to lose weight. It was to become healthy, and the steps that I needed to take to do that. And I actually created a game plan for that. So I was no longer focusing on the symptom, the weight loss. That became secondary. It used to be primary, but that became secondary. And so my new intention and my new goal was just to become healthy, whatever that was. And that leads us into our first, I guess, topic of the day. I'll pull up on the screen. Just creating your goals. I wasn't obtaining an attainable goal because I was focusing on the symptom and not the root cause. So what I used to do was make a list of I should have, things that I should do, things that I wanted to do in order to lose weight. But I reshifted my thought process and just really thought about being healthy. What could I accomplish comfortably without overextending myself? Because a lot of times I thought that going to the gym 2 or 3 times a day, going on these crazy diets was the way to go, but that wasn't working for me, and it wasn't anything that I was going to be able to feasibly achieve. But I know I could take baby steps in improving my health issues one at a time. So creating your goals for the year is very important, and making sure that they're attainable for you. So Jess, do you have any goals for this year? What do you focus on at the beginning of the year, if anything?
Well, and like you were saying, I used to set resolutions, and then as I grew healthier and achieved things, I said, "Ooh, let me aim bigger and bigger," and I got kind of caught up in the bigger is better, more is better, and then like it could be with your, getting healthy, losing weight, doing these things, then you set yourself up for failure. Mm-hmm. And you also, a lot of times for me, I found I didn't take time to stop and say, wait a minute, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm sure not where I was. And so this year, I'm really focusing on setting those small permanent changes, whether it is stopping and saying, you know what, let's celebrate the successes of my personal and my business life.
Yes, exactly.
And for, business, it is growing that, but also personal, I might want to travel more. Mm-hmm. I found that I get so busy and in my routine, I don't do that as much. And I like that you said about working out. I love fitness, but for me, sometimes when we like things, we have to take a step back and say, mm-hmm. Why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. Too much of a good thing could be a bad
exactly.
thing. So I've really shifted my schedule, even starting this week, and saying, okay, I'm going to work in when I need to work in, not just for the sake of working out. Mm-hmm. And then my food, honestly, it's giving myself grace and enjoying so I follow, I try like you, have tried a lot of different diets and different types of eating. And I have really found that I love going out every now and then and enjoying stuff without guilt. And it's really not a good food, bad food type of mentality.
Exactly.
And it's loving my body. So I have decided to keep with my meal planning and do all of that, but really enjoy when I am choosing, to go out and eat and different things and not feel guilty about it. So.
And that's a good point too, because again, we're making this a lifestyle. So it has to be something that we're able to sustain over long periods of time. So if you're not able to live your life and have fun doing it and enjoy going out and enjoy your food, you're less likely to be consistent with it. So that is very important. As I was watching a show the other day, and someone was on a diet, and they said I just couldn't do it anymore because I couldn't go out with my friends. I couldn't, enjoy myself at work when we had work functions, and it just wasn't working for them. And I think they lasted almost 3 days because their diet was so strict. They had so many restrictions. So releasing the restrictions and eating what's right for you, for your body type, not necessarily cutting things out, but adding things in that are good for you, helps a lot.
Yeah.
The next topic I have is putting your goals on paper. Oftentimes, and I'm guilty myself, I'll have great intentions at the beginning of the year, but I don't put the action steps behind them. So I've just started this year compiling a list of things that I want to do, and it doesn't have to be a long list. Again, the goal is not for it to be overwhelming or unattainable. And also not to overextend myself. So I just gave myself a list of top 5 goals in different areas of my life. And again, going back to what you said earlier, a lot of times we tend to focus on one specific goal or things not in the big picture. So what I did was focused on, okay, I want to live a better lifestyle. I want to be healthier. What are the things that I need to accomplish that? It's not necessarily food. It's not necessarily working out more. For me, it's more meditation. For me, it's more self-awareness. It's more self-care. It was so funny. I was doing this self-care challenge during December, and I think that I'm taking care of myself better with the little things that I'm doing each day. But, my daughter came into my room and she was like, you never think about anybody else. I mean, you never think about yourself. You always think about everybody else. And she said it in such a way that it kind of like touched my spirit. Like, what is she seeing in me that's making her realize that I need to take better care of myself and start focusing on myself? And then I went into a deeper thought process of I've never taken a vacation. I'm 37 years old. And I've taken many vacations in the city. I've done little retreats for myself, but I've never stopped working to go just focus on me. So that's one of the things that I wanted to focus on this year, bigger picture. And that overall will help my weight. That overall will help my mood. That overall will help my energy and help me be able to give more to myself and help me be able to give more to others, which is why I got into health coaching in the first place.
I love that. I found out about something called the passion test. A few years ago from a really dear blogger friend of mine. And so what I do is I go back and I reevaluate that. But I've broken it down to 5 things. And so daily I'll look and say, one of mine is being a better steward of my time and money. Mm-hmm. So before I say yes, it could be business, personal, for a friend, school activity. I go back to my list and I say, is it aligned with one of these things? Mm-hmm. And that has really helped me. And I think I do vision boards, I do different things, but not everyone likes to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, if I have it, it's there, it's simple. I can always say, you know what, am I saying yes? Is it really aligned with one of these things? Because like you said, I've been taking time to think, why am I doing these things? Mm-hmm. And, so maybe even having, top 3 or 5 things and asking yourself, does it align with one of these things? Because that is your passion, whether it's your health, business, family, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so important. I remember one year, the only resolution I had was to say no more. because I felt as though I was saying yes to everything. And it kind of depends on where you are. I heard someone mention the other day their resolution was to say yes because they said no all the time. So it really varies by the individual and what you need personally. It's an individual thing, but yeah, I put my goals on paper this year, and my key word this year is focus. Focusing in on one thing. we have something in common. It's focus, to narrow my focus down to one thing and quit kind of being all over the place as far as how I want to grow personally and how I want to grow in my business and help others. So that's what I look forward to doing this year, and I can't wait for what the year has in store.
And saying no, Jamie, without guilt.
Yes.
It's no, it's not, oh, I'm sorry, but I can't. No.
Without explanation sometimes too. It's just no. Yeah. And it felt so good. It felt for me, it felt good. I'm not sure about the other person. So even with my kids, I just know I can't. No. If I can, I can if I want to, but if I can't, I don't have any problem saying no now. So it's really good to start doing. The next one is telling your loved one your goals. And this is so important as far as accountability is concerned. And I started out doing this with fitness. I had my running partner that I have to this very day, Danielle, and we both had similar goals. So we decided to try to conquer them together. Even with my fitness, going to the gym, how that all evolved over time was that I enjoyed being with the group. And so it's being with the group and everyone having a common goal and telling them and everyone holding each other accountable. So do you ever tell anyone your goals?
I do. And I think, and I've noticed over the years, the last 2 years, especially, just, speaking that out there, putting that out into the universe and into other, and out vocalizing it, it gives it a little bit more power. Mm-hmm. And it also, in our mind, it says someone else knows about this. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean we're going to disappoint if we don't do it. But for me, just it creates a sort of accountability and it speaks it into existence. Mm-hmm. So whether it's I'm going to do this in my business this year. So me, I'm finishing up a book that I've been writing. So me just saying that and telling other people about it, mm-hmm. it's putting it into motion. So I do that. And also, you never know who might have those same goals, even if it's someone close to you, or you might be encouraging someone to work on a goal that you had no idea, they were struggling with something. And so kind of like you were saying with your running buddy, I have neighbors and a lot of us are busy working moms. And so we walk and talk. We just call it walk and talk. My neighbor's a family attorney, has 3 kids. She literally, I can see her door from my door and we would never see each other. Mm-hmm. Our kids were in the same grade together. So we said, you know what, let's walk and talk. We meet at 5:15 in the morning. We walk before I go to my spin class, and I'll tell her some of my things that I'm working on, whether it's personal or business, and it's just really helped. And mm-hmm. it kind of creates a bond there too. So I love it. I love doing that.
It's really good. It's really good to make sure that you let them know that you want them to hold you accountable. And also be truthful when they ask you, when they follow up with you, because you're not always going to be perfect. And that's not the point. It's not the point of them beating up on you, but just having someone to have a listening ear. So, they can celebrate your successes. But if you happen to have a pitfall or a bump in the road, they're there to help you work your way through that as well.
Yeah, I love you without judgment, but like you said, hold you accountable and tell you the truth in love, mm-hmm. type of deal. So, yeah, I love that.
So the next one is just, and I think we've kind of touched on this earlier, just taking it one step at a time, baby steps. Once I stopped saying my goal was to lose 50 pounds, which was, a difficult task, which was going to take a long period of time, and also discouraged me if I didn't get to my goal in the time frame that I wanted to get to my time frame in, I was more likely to give up. And I know a lot of us at this time of the year, especially a lot of the people in my circle, I teach at various different gyms. I'm in various different groups of ladies who have the same goals of losing a certain amount of weight, which is perfectly fine. But making sure that we're setting attainable goals that are feasible, sustainable, that we can carry on for our lifetime. It's a lifestyle change. Just taking it one step at a time each day. And again, as you stated just before, celebrating the wins, the small victories, not beating yourself up if you do have a speed bump or a bump in the road, to make sure that it's a journey. You don't have to speed your way to your destination. You can reach your goal just by taking your time.
Yeah, and I think it's important, especially like you said, this new year when we have this really large goal for people and for us to remember, like we talked about earlier, a lot of times something that we're going through, it's a symptom. And so there's that root cause. So we don't want to go in and say, I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to be a better mom. I want to run a marathon. I want to bake goods for the PTO meeting. It's a lot of different things. Whereas if we're making those small permanent changes over time, they will turn into a lifestyle shift. But if we try to do too many things at once, we're going to end up frustrated and be further back than where we began. When I discovered GMOs, I was horrified. I said, I'm killing my family.
Yeah.
And like my stepsons would never eat at the house, and I didn't know why. They're like, oh, we already ate, because I was like making my own bread. There was 5 things I knew to buy at the grocery store. We were set. We did all the things right, but I couldn't sustain that. Mm-hmm. So I really was down on myself after that, because then I ended up getting overwhelmed, stressed out, and we ate out actually more than we even did before that. So I had to get to something that was a sustainable, realistic thing for my family, mm-hmm. and that I could feel good about. It was that balance there. So that's just one example of how sometimes we want to get fit or we want to eat healthy, but we go overboard, and 2 months down the road, we're worse off than where we started. So mm-hmm. Like Jamie said, just take it one step at a time and make that a permanent small change.
Mm-hmm. And it also goes back to what you said at the beginning of the live video about having a holistic approach and looking at it from the big picture. Because a lot of times you know what to do or you know what you want to do, but does that fit into your lifestyle? Is that sustainable? You said that you couldn't sustain that for a long period of time, and you ended up going out to eat more. So you were in a worse situation afterwards than you were before. So not just looking at, okay, I need to eat well, I need to work out, I need to meal prep every Sunday. Okay, well, is it feasible for you to do that? Do you have time to go to the grocery store on Saturday so you have the food on Sunday to meal prep? Does your schedule allow for that? What other considerations do you have to make in order to even start on that journey? It's not just cut and dry for everybody. And you can't just have one template for everybody, because everyone is so different. Everyone's lifestyle is different. So how clean eating and how healthy living looks for you may look different for someone else, but it doesn't mean that it's any better or any worse. It's just different. But the important thing is realizing that you have to do what fits for you and making a plan for that.
That's right.
And that kind of actually goes into, these are leading right into each other. The next one is to show compassion for yourself, right? I think we've stated a couple of times throughout this live video that everything is not going to go perfectly fine 100% for you all the time. But being able to grow and learn from your mistakes, I tell people all the time, because right now how people see me, it can be a little intimidating. Oh, all she does is drink green smoothies and kombucha and work out and do XYZ. I can't do that. I don't even know where to start. I started this process maybe back in 2008. It's been a long, slow journey for me. It's not anything that happens overnight, and I'm not always perfect now, nor do I place the expectation on myself to be, because I'm only human and things happen. And as long as I know my body and I know what I can tolerate and what I can't tolerate, I'm fine with that. If I have a splurge during a holiday, that's fine, because I know how to get right back on track. So it's not about beating yourself up or being perfect on this journey, because none of us can be, but just learning and growing and continually to slowly improve day by day.
And I think it's kind of, I don't know the saying, but kind of like there was mess in the process, you know.
Yes.
You see this picture, and that could be for anything, whether it's you see somebody and you want, whether it's business, you know, right? You see this person successful in their business. You see this person with their family, but we don't always oftentimes see what it took to get there.
Exactly.
And so we really want to stay out of that no compare zone. So a quick thing that I did is I homeschooled my girls for 5 years. It was wonderful, but I would not do something right or not be like certain homeschool moms, and I would just feel horrible, you know, and think, I didn't do this for this week, you know, and that can go over into our health or fitness or being a mom in general. And I finally said, you know what, this is my journey, my family. We don't look like so-and-so's family, and that's okay. We just have to stop beating ourselves up, you know. We just have to have that compassion. I started treating myself the way I would treat you, or the way I would the lady at Target, you know. I thought I would never think that about, you know, another mom or anyone else. So I finally said, you know what, I need to give myself the same compassion, you know, and love that I would give a stranger, because I'm just a giving person. So I think we need to stop beating ourselves up. And until we can really release ourselves of those things, we're going to hinder our progress.
Exactly right. So much. And it's so funny that we do that too. That, going back to the point I made earlier about my daughter coming in my room and saying, you only think about everybody else, you never think about yourself. I was just like, why is she upset? Or why was that a bad thing? And that is a bad thing, not to show yourself the same grace and mercy and self-care and love that you would anybody else. It doesn't make any sense, but so often, especially with you working with mothers, you know, right? Mothers tend to do that a lot more so than anyone else, because you're the nucleus of the household. You kind of run everything. So it's just given in our nature to give and put ourselves last, and that's something that we shouldn't do in our journey in life, in our journey in our goals. Whatever it is, we need to make sure that we're showing our self-compassion just as well as we're showing everybody else compassion. That's so good.
You know what, something that helped me, and even, you know, we might get into this on another day, but like setting those healthy boundaries, even with our children. Like you said, we're the leaders, you know, of the children. We're the parent. Something that helped me is I thought, I have 3 girls, and I thought, what kind of mom do I want them to be? Do I want them to be the mom that's given to everyone else and not doing these things? No. And so I finally let them know, look, y'all are a very big part of my life, but you are not my whole life.
Exactly.
If I'm not okay, I can't, y'all aren't okay. And, you know, at first they were a little shocked. But you know what? Just like the things that I've done, like I'm doing with you and in my business, they actually like it and they like seeing that.
Yes.
So I think it's important for us, even if we say at first, you know, we don't want to do it for ourselves, since we naturally go to our children, what kind of adult and parent do we want our children to be? Because we're modeling that for them. So if they see us as strong and caring for ourselves, that's giving them something to do when they're adults as well. So that helped me put that into perspective. And it's really been helpful for me this last year going forward.
And I love that you said that. That's important for 2 reasons. One, because they are watching. You don't think that they're watching what you're doing, but they really are. And my daughter has said on a number of occasions how proud she is of me. And I do appreciate that. But I'm watching them as well. And I started to see that my kids were picking up my tendencies, working all the time, stressing about their schoolwork. And that's not what I wanted for them. Because I remember those days when I was younger that I did that, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing. I'm not any further ahead in life from stressing when I was in high school. But they watch me now, and I've carried that with me throughout my life. And that's all they've seen. That's all they know. I said, well, how would you describe me to someone else? You're a hard worker. You know what I mean? I don't want that to be the description that my kids have for me. So I have to be aware of how I'm acting and what they see. And that self-love and that self-compassion is so important because I want them to have that for themselves. So as you just said, if you want your kids to have it, you have to mimic that yourself. That was awesome. I'm glad you said that and brought that point up. The next one is the power of positive thinking. And I guess because I never have that issue with positive thinking, I always assume that things are going to go well. I'm going to work hard and get in motion. It's not like that for everybody. And the mind is such a powerful thing. Just in making sure that you are focused on positive affirmations for yourself on a daily basis. Keeping a positive mindset while you're on your journey, because it can get difficult. And I tell people all the time, and my clients all the time, when we're first having our interaction, if you expect this to be easy, if you expect the journey to be easier because you have me, it's not. I can make it a little bit easier with information, but it is a transition. It took me a while. I'm still transitioning. I learned something new on a regular basis that I didn't know before about myself, mentally, physically, spiritually. Because once you get one area in alignment, it opens up your eyes to other areas. Yeah. And sometimes it's things that you don't want to see. For me, it was, I'm healing my body physically, but am I emotionally healed? Right? So that opened the doors to someone else, to something else. But through that whole process, whether it be with diet or exercise or my spiritual awareness, I have to have a positive mindset on what I'm doing on a daily basis, or else it would hinder my progress.
Yes, and I'm a fairly positive person as well, Jamie, but that's some things that I have noticed that when those little things that creep in, those little things of doubt, or maybe it's fear, and I notice with my clients, and I'm sure you have as well, and even in my own growth, a lot of times we're fearful of change, even if it is a positive change, because we know if this happens, then I've got to do this, or what if that, what if this, and finally I said, like you said, the mind is a very powerful thing. I'm going to enjoy my journey for the step that I'm at. I'm not going to worry about what if this happens, and am I going to be able to go that next step? We're over here worrying about 2 or 3 steps up the road, and we haven't even completed the step we're on. So yes. I've really just tried to, stay positive. I was actually talking to a client this past weekend, and it's the small things that we share, the morning gratitude. I had told her, you don't have time, if you don't want to get a big journal and have time to write a journal entry, wake up and just say something positive. Think of something positive that makes you happy. Scribble something or look out the window. And she just said, it's helped me so much just saying, seeing a bird, or when I'm walking, just thinking about things positive, because it does manifest and it sets the tone for the day. So yes, I'm a big believer in the power of positive thinking. It doesn't mean we're perfect, or that we have to like everything going on in our life, but we can pick out what is going right. And it just leads to other things. And it opens your eyes to other things that are going right. So I believe in that.
So the next thing that I have on the list, and we're almost going to wrap this up, was just keeping stress at bay. Making sure, again, you can chime in, Jessica, at any time. We've talked about this throughout the live. For me, when I had the discovery back, I think it was 2015, 2016, I didn't realize how powerful stress was. People would always make the statement that stress would kill you, but I just thought that was, just a saying that people would say just because it really didn't have any significance to my life. But trying to make, like you said, trying to go through change and make change in your life is a stressful situation. But when that stress comes, how we handle it is so important. Making time to say affirmations in the morning, making time throughout the day when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling pressure, to just take a minute or two to meditate, to get through that particular moment in time where things are uncomfortable, to where you can refocus and start fresh and start anew is so important. And just realizing that it's not going to be easy. There will be speed bumps in the road, but making sure that you have your accountability partners, making sure you go back to your plan, making sure that you go back and revise your plan if you need to. It's nothing that's concrete and in stone, but also giving yourself grace. All of those things that we've talked about before throughout the entire live broadcast will help you on that journey to keeping your stress at bay.
Yes, I agree. And something that I, especially like early on in my training at IIN, the hope for the, holistic health coach training was breathing. And I thought, okay, y'all, this is kind of hokey. Like, yes, I'm breathing, and what is this really going to help? But honestly, when I would take time to breathe, and I don't know if you've ever noticed, we don't like a lot of awkward silence. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, why is that? Because it forces us to really, think and think about things. So even just being quiet and doing deep breathing, if you try it, you'll notice you really don't do it, how much you don't do it. Mm-hmm. It just helps kind of calm you. And if you're in a very stressful situation, literally count to 10. Take some deep breaths, mm-hmm. because you don't want to make a rash decision. And like Jamie said, this is going to bring up, when you're making these changes, a lot of things are going to surface. Mm-hmm. So to set yourself up for success, just take some time, take some deep breaths before you, make a reply or start beating up on yourself or someone else, mm-hmm. Just take some deep breaths and minimize that stress, because worrying you have to ask yourself, is being worried about this going to help? Most of the time the answer is no. So just know you have to, it could be positive stress from changes, right? But we need to work on keeping that in check so we can be successful.
Mm-hmm. I think I heard someone say recently, is it going to matter 5 minutes from now? Is it going to matter an hour from now? Is it going to matter a day from now? If it's not going to matter, within those time frames, even, a month from now, then why are you stressing over it? It doesn't matter. It's a moment in time where you're feeling a bit of stress. So take a moment in time just to breathe and let it go, and move on to fulfill your day and fulfill your purpose for that particular day, because it's stress is not good, and it's going to, like you said, it could kill you. So.
One more thing I want to say, Jamie, real quick. I was thinking that has helped me, because I'm a to-do list kind of girl. Like I like my pen and paper. I like writing my little to-do list. Mm-hmm. But guess what? It's a long to-do list, and then I get stressed when I haven't done it all. So something that's helped me is I really say, okay, today, what has to be done? What are the top 3 things I need to do? And if you work, that might be for work. If it might be for your home or family. But then I feel like I've done something, I've marked it off. And if I don't get to everything, it's okay. But it just helps, instead of looking at this big, long list of things you didn't do, mm-hmm. say, honestly, what do I really need to get done today? And it just gives you a little bit of sense of accomplishment and keeps you from that stress building up. Mm-hmm. And what can I realistically get done today? Mm-hmm. So that has really helped me.
Yes, I'm a to-do list person as well. I get joy out of scratching things off of my list. So I have to write everything down. And it also helps me clear my mind. Because if I don't write it down, then it's always in my head, and I always have thoughts going on in my head. So I try to keep little notes everywhere, or at least keep my to-do list with me at all times. So when I say at all times, I carry it with me at all times, or at least have one in my phone. But for me, that is a stress reliever. Getting it out of my head, so I'm not thinking about it, and even putting it on a particular day or in a particular slot, so I know I don't have to do it today. I know I need to do it. I don't have to do it today. I don't have to stress about it today, but I'm going to remember when I need to do it. So that's been helpful for me as well. And the last thing I have on the agenda for the day is just to consider a health coach. And that's not because I'm trying to just plug being a health coach. I've said throughout the entire process, or this entire live, it was a struggle for me, because it was a lot of trial and error. I went through a lot of time. I went through a lot of money, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. And I wish I had someone to guide me along that process, because it wouldn't have taken so long. I got discouraged a lot. I think I made some of my symptoms worse from stressing over it. I think I made my health worse from stressing over it. Some of the things that I was trying to implement that I thought was healthy wasn't healthy for me. It may have been healthy for somebody else, where I was watching and seeing what they'd done and it worked for them. I was going to try it on myself. It didn't work for me because of the particular health conditions that I have. So just having that information, and I my friends and family, that's good for accountability. That's all well and good. Going to the doctor is fine, but they're only going to give me tests and send me on my way. I had no one to talk to on a regular basis or where I can get information from on a regular basis to help me figure out what I needed to do to get me where I wanted to go in the quickest path that I could. So the help considering a health coach is so important. If you're frustrated, if you're know what to do but don't know how to get there for a number of different reasons, having someone there who's knowledgeable, who's been through what you've gone through, who has in a similar situation that you, Jess, you said that you're were a stay-at-home mom who did homeschooling. I'm sure there's other homeschool moms that could benefit from what you have to offer.
Yes, and then something, like you were saying, there's tons of information out there, right? Like we're overwhelmed with, you can Google and find different things. So for me, I tell my clients, it's not about me just sharing information. Yes, you and I share information as a health coach, but it's taking our unique situations. I couldn't do the things that you've done and apply it the same way because my life is totally different. So that's what's so important. It's not a one size fits all. No. What works for you may not work for me. So those are the things of value that my clients have seen by working with a coach is you're looking at that individual and looking at all the areas and what works for that person. But also, there's different coaches and you find that fit that works for you. And so, yeah, it's not about just sharing information because a lot of times we know what we need to do.
Exactly.
We have access to the information, but then it's overwhelmed and we don't want to spend time, trial and error and trying things. And when we can have a customized thing for us and have that person walk us through it. So, yeah.
And that's so good we're ending off on that. And just another note, I know we've talked a lot about health, but also we want to emphasize the holistic approach. So it may not be health at all. It may be a business goal. It may be a career goal. It may be any type of goal that you're setting an intention for and making a plan for this year. And so this live broadcast was actually a goal of Jess and ours to complete this first one, and we got it done. So not only are we telling you, just jump, make sure that you get started. And Jess is in this process is my accountability partner as I am hers to make sure that we're getting this done. So we're not only telling you, we're living it as well by demonstrating it today on this live broadcast. And our goal is to, I guess we can share our goal as well. Yeah. Our goal is to do
Get out there, share it.
So you can keep us accountable. Our goal is to do these coaching conversations with Jamie and Jess on a regular basis. For right now, we have them set every Monday. We would love for you to send us in topics that you would like us to cover. We set this first one again because we wanted to make sure that we got started. We are deeply passionate about what we do, deeply passionate about helping others, deeply passionate about health coaching, and we want to make sure that we're doing a good job at servicing you and giving you the information that you need on these weekly broadcasts. So Jess, I'll let you have the last word.
Well, and I would say yes, and just like Jamie said, we are practicing what we preach or teach, so to speak. So we just same like we're doing with a lot of things, jump in, don't wait for perfection. It's about progress, not perfection. And that could be business, family, goal, relationships, whatever it is. I really encourage you to start now. Don't say, oh man, it's, January, it's almost mid-January, so I'll just wait next year or, wait till summer. No, whatever you're wanting to work on, now is the time. And I just encourage y'all to get involved, ask questions, reach out. And I think this is a great group, and I'm excited to meet more of the people in our group.
Awesome. So on that note, we'll sign off and we'll see you next Monday at 7:30.
Bye, y'all.